Game modes are the thing that make Gamemode Dash the game that we know. Like imagine a GD where there isn't a cube, or a ship, or maybe even a UFO. But there is one game mode that particularly stands out from the other game modes. And that is the Wave. And today we're gonna be talking about exactly this game mode. And I'll show you why this game mode breaks the community and even the game itself. Let's begin. I am Deciduous and I'm gonna be your guide through this topic. First, let's start by looking at the functionality of the Wave game mode. If you hold the button, you fly up, and if you release the button, you fall down. So far, so easy. But when comparing it to other game modes, like the ship or UFO, you're able to see that the Wave is way more straightforward than these game modes. But also considering that the Wave has no janky physics like the other game modes, it makes it very easy to control. But that means that the Wave is basically pure skill, right? On one hand, due to the predictability of the Wave, it makes it very easy to reach the skill cap on the Wave, faster than in any other game mode. Since at some point you will have the exact moment you have to press the button memorized. Of course, you will still be able to get some minor improvements, but from this point on, your skill on Wave will be basically capped. On the other hand, there is still another way on how to reach the skill cap or even surpass it without having to memorize at the exact time you have to click the Wave at. And that is the FPS bypass. With the FPS bypass, you're basically able to increase your FPS up to 360. With higher FPS, the game will be basically able to calculate and translate your inputs faster into the game. This way you can save yourself the whole process of memorizing the times when you will have to click. That is because your clicks are instantaneous anyways. The influence of the FPS bypass on the Wave is even bigger than the influence on the ship. While everyone knows that straight flying will become a lot easier with higher refresh rates, it still remains the weird physics of the ship. But all the things it does for the Wave is to decrease the time it takes for the game to register your inputs. But that is also the only factor that really matters for the Wave, so you will instantly be able to benefit from this. With the FPS bypass, it still takes skill to master the Wave, but it also takes a lot of the intentional difficulties of the game away. Now that we've talked about the mechanics of the Wave, let's talk about if the Wave even fits into Gamemode Dash. As already said, in comparison to the other game modes, the Wave has fairly straightforward game mechanics. And that is the only game mode with a spider that has instantaneous movements. But is that even a good thing, you might ask? While some might argue that it doesn't fit into GD because you have too much control over your movement, you still need to keep in mind that the Wave has a reason why it is so frequently used in extreme demons or challenges. The thing that almost only the Wave has is that it's naturally fun to play. Like who doesn't love to maneuver the Wave through very tight corridors? So overall, I think, while it might not fit with the other game modes, I still think that it's a very important part of the game. Now that we've looked at the connections of the Wave game mode and the game itself, let's look at the Wave's influence on the community. Probably every one of us knows the hardest levels of the game. There are levels like VSC, Sakupen Circles, or even Slaughterhouse. And they all have in common that a lot of their difficulty comes from extremely difficult Wave sections. But why is that so many difficult levels are carried by incredibly difficult Wave parts? I think it has three reasons that I've already partly talked about. The first reason might be that the Wave is a very fun game mode. In very difficult levels, it's obviously not very easy to make fun gameplay, so your best bet will be probably to make a Wave part, since they are often very fun on their own. But that obviously doesn't apply to every level, and therefore I think it's more like the second reason. And that is that Wave parts are incredibly easy to make, since you basically just have to place corner blocks and that's pretty much it. There you have a very difficult Wave part. And the last reason is that basically all the players that play these kinds of levels have very high refresh rate. And as I've already discussed previously, the high refresh rate has a very big influence in the Wave. So the people that play these levels are unevenly better at Wave than at any other game mode. Therefore they can make Wave parts that are a lot more difficult than any other part because they are so good at it. But that also has the downside that players that don't have a high refresh rate are basically excluded from the hardest levels in the game, since they don't have the benefit of high refresh rate and the Wave.
That is also the reason why the community is split into thinking that high refresh rate is even considered cheating. But all in all, these were the reasons why the wave Gamemode breaks Geometry Dash. But anyways, this was it for today. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Goodbye.